I tested 3 AI workflows on the same small business content job. Same source packet, same business objective, same acceptance gate. I expected the most structured workflow to win. It didn't. And that changed the question I think small businesses should ask about AI. Not, what is the most advanced stack? But, what is the minimum amount of control this job actually needs? Here's the experiment. Route A was simple. Source in, one prompt, one output, one designed handoff. It passed the acceptance gate with no blocking rework, no claim errors, and no other blocking defects. It was the simplest route by far, and that matters, because one of the biggest mistakes in AI workflows is assuming that complexity is automatically sophistication. Sometimes a bounded job with clear source truth does not need a chain of agents, 6 review stages, or another tool. Sometimes simple is sufficient. Route B used a multi-stage production process. Search intent, outline, draft, rewrite, derivatives, claim check, 6 designed handoffs. It also passed. No blocking rework, no claim errors, no blocking defects. And in this specific chat-mediated run, Route B had the lowest observed wall clock time. That does not mean Route B is universally the fastest. This experiment was not a benchmark of raw model speed, but it does show something useful. Extra stages are not automatically wasted. A stage earns its place when it performs a real job. Search intent can matter. Packaging can matter. Derivatives can matter. Claim checking can matter. The problem begins when the workflow becomes complicated and nobody can explain why each handoff exists. Then came Route C. This was the highest control FWE workflow. Source brief, claim and evidence map, draft, claim boundary review, accepted master, derivatives, final quality control, 7 designed handoffs. Route C also passed. And qualitatively, it produced the strongest evidence traceability, the strongest claim control structure, and the strongest FWE distinctiveness. But it also created the most process overhead. That was the surprise. The workflow I expected to be the universal winner was not the universal winner. On the operational dimensions we measured, simpler routes were more efficient. But Route C was doing something the operational metrics did not fully capture. It was reducing the cost of being wrong. That distinction matters. If you are drafting a private internal note, being wrong may be cheap and easy to reverse. If you are making a consequential claim to a customer, publishing financial information, touching contracts, rights, reputation, or money, the cost of being wrong is much higher. That is where more control can become economically rational, not because more process is better, because the downside is large. So the doctrine from this experiment is simple. Use the minimum sufficient control. Do not use the simplest workflow for everything, and do not use the most rigorous workflow for everything. Match control to consequence. If the source truth is already bounded, the stakes are low to medium, and one-pass acceptance is realistic. Route A may be enough. If discovery, search intent, packaging, transformations, or derivatives matter, a Route B-style workflow can justify more stages. If evidence conflicts, rights matter, money is at risk, the claim is consequential, or the cost of error is high, Route C can justify the extra control. There is another lesson. Generation speed is not the same as business. Suppose an AI draft appears in 5 minutes. Then the owner spends 30 more minutes checking, correcting, rewriting, and approving. Economically, that workflow did not take 5 minutes. The unit I care about is time to accept it out. The complete path from starting the job to something you are actually willing to use. That means measuring more than generation speed. Measure owner minutes, handoffs, rework, claim errors, other defects, exposed tool costs, and whether the output actually passed acceptance. This experiment also exposed a measurement problem. A binary pass or reject gate is necessary, but it is not enough to describe quality margin. All 3 routes passed, but they did not create the same kind of value. So future tests should keep the hard acceptance gate while tracking quality dimensions separately. Evidence traceability, decision usefulness, claim control strength, production readiness, distinctiveness. And I would not collapse those into one fake universal score unless there is real calibration behind it. Different dimensions represent different kinds of value. False precision does not make a decision better. So if you are designing an AI workflow today, ask 4 questions. What is the job? What is the cost of being wrong? What evidence is uncertain? And what is the minimum sufficient control? Then choose the route. Simple. Production. High control. After the run, measure the complete path to accepted outcome. Because AI did not finish the job when it generated the first draft. The job finished when the result became usable. That is the economic lens. Complexity should earn its place. Control should scale with consequence. Workflow before tool. Evidence before scale. Minimum sufficient control.